Hello YouTube, this is a follow-up video to my Will It Run video that I took yesterday regarding Elite Dangerous and running it on an AMD Athlon dual-core 5400. And I wanted to revisit this game with some statistics, and so I downloaded MSI Afterburner, which you can see here in the upper left corner. I was really curious to see what kind of frame rate I was getting. So in my other video I didn't have MSI Afterburner installed. So I'm just curious how stable of a frame rate we have here. Also, I am going to be using a PlayStation 3 controller today. It makes my life a little easier. Alright, I'm going to show you what the current settings are. Back to the native resolution, 1366 by 768. VSync is on, and medium preset. Okay, but we'll see what kind of frame rate we're getting. Because if you remember, I said it looks a little jittery, so I'm going to go back into a training mission here. Launch. As you can see on the menu, it's running at around 60 frames per second, which is kind of cool, but it's a menu, not the real game. Notice that the CPUs are the two cores are around 50-60%, but let's see where that goes from here. VRAM seems to be almost maxed out. You can see that here we're at 494 megabytes. GPU usage is right now still at 35%. Temperature is still about 60 degrees, but I have a feeling that's going to go ramp up very soon. Now we're in the station. Let's see what's gonna happen. So me just sitting here in the station, medium settings with VSync on. I'm getting 97% GPU usage, about 40-43 frames per second. My CPU has gone up to about 80-85%. I'm gonna look around. Let me see. My controller doesn't work, so let me see if my controls are probably just borked. Hold on. Yeah, let's go to default context, apply, back to the game. Alright, here we go. Okay. So just looking around here in the hangar, I'm getting between 35 and 40 frames per second. Okay, now I feel this is very jittery, but I have a feeling if we would cap the frame rate at 30, it would actually look much more smoother. So let's try that. So the other thing we could try is just to lower the resolution ever so slightly to 1280 by 720. But let's just see if limiting the frame rate gives us a smooth picture. Okay. So now I see 30 frames per second. Doesn't look as jittery anymore. Also notice that the GPU usage has gone down, which is almost expected that it did. Let's see what else we can do to since the GPU isn't crunching so many numbers right now. See if we can improve a little on the video quality. So let me see. Texture and shadow quality. I'm not going to touch those because of the VRAM constraints. There's no bloom right now, so let me turn that on. Blur is on. No anti-aliasing, so I'm going to put that to FXAA. Let's keep ambient occlusion out of the picture for now. FX quality, let's set that to medium. Reflections quality, let's leave that on high. And galaxy map medium, which I haven't even looked at the galaxy map yet. Let's go back into the game and let's see if we're still at 30 frames per second, and we are. We're still at 30 frames per second in the hangar. GPU usage has gone up to about 87%, which is to be expected because it's doing a little bit more. Let's try the big one here, which is ambient occlusion. That for me usually means big performance hit. Let's see where we're going. Okay, resume. So as you can see, my GPU is close to maxed out. It's 98%, 99%. The frame rate is hovering around 30, but drops a little bit. All that being said, is we're still in the hangar, and that's where a lot of those big frame rates are in. So I'm gonna go launch. I have to go through the pre-flight check. We'll go through that real quick here. And off we go. Yeah, so it's down a bit to 25 frames per second, so we could probably make this more stable if we just reduce the resolution to 720p, which I'm gonna try next. Let's just see, just flying through the station here. Alright, so just gonna fly through the little slot here. Around when you get through the slot is also usually when the frame rate drops. GPU is crunching away, 92%, 95%. Frame rate is kind of stable still. Here we go, through the slot. It wasn't too bad. Yep. Look at this. That wasn't bad at all. Okay, so let me go back in the settings. So the one thing that kind of throws me off a little bit too here is the refresh rate, because that's not exactly half of the 60 Hertz. I mean, for the frame rate, it's not good. So let's go up this to 60 Hertz, and this is reduce the resolution. Apply. Yes. I have set ambient occlusion. Okay, so that is about the best quality settings you can get with medium with this card, I think. So I'm gonna go. Let's try the target practice, because it drops you off in the middle of an asteroid belt, and see how that goes. All right. So we're still at 30 frames per second, which is, I'm still amazed that this card is still running this game so well. Because I was really expecting a slideshow. Just out of curiosity, I'm gonna unlock and I'm gonna remove the vertical sync. I just want to see where we're getting at. Okay, so with everything unlocked, I'm still just getting a little over 30, around 40. To me, anything that's between 30 and 60 looks jittery. So I don't know about you guys, if you don't care about it, frames per second is really everything. You might not want to run with the VSync options and stuff like that. I cannot stand screen tearing and jitteriness, so to me, this is not as good, even though the frame rate is better, but this is not as good as locking the frame rate. Yep, just locking it up. At least that way I'm getting a stable picture. That's what I'm always looking for in a game. I know I'm not going to be able to get 60 frames per second out of this game here, not with this card. Anyway, let's fly by an asteroid here and see how that goes. Alright, I'm getting pretty close here to this asteroid just to see what the textures look like. Doesn't look too bad. No. Of course, with a card that had a smaller VRAM, these textures might still look better, I don't know. But I gotta say, if I was gonna just play this right now, I would probably be happy playing this. Okay, let's do this and see what happens here. We're still at 30 frames per second. GPU is not even stressed. Not even stressed right now, so I guess I could try going to higher settings, but I think these settings for this card, I'd be happy to play it like this and leave myself a little bit of headroom there for when the action gets rough, because yeah, the GPU is at 80%, but look at my CPU now. This is the dual core AMD, which, yeah, it's running already near capacity at 92%. It needs to calculate all of these asteroids too, and so. But what we're getting here is Elite Dangerous, a modern game on old hardware, and it's playable. That's what I was looking for, and that is why I did this little mini review. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please check out my previous one if you didn't see it. I'll make sure I have a link to that video in the description below. And go ahead and like and subscribe if you haven't. I don't do these videos very regularly. I'm not a very active channel, like so many other YouTubers are probably more active than what I do here, but every once in a while I do post videos like this. So if you enjoyed this, subscribe. It doesn't cost anything, so have a fun day and have fun in space, Commander. Bye.